Hey everyone and welcome. You know, this October is a big one. It marks the 40th anniversary of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It feels like the perfect time to really dive into the incredible progress we've made and talk about the essential resources that are out there right now. So in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. What you need to know about diagnosis, treatment, and the amazing support systems that are truly changing lives. Let's get right into it.
Let's look at a number that really puts things into perspective. The data shows that about 1 in 8 women in the United States will develop invasive breast cancer in her lifetime. I mean, that's a pretty staggering figure, and it just hammers home why awareness and being proactive about our health is so important for all of us.
But here is where the story gets really hopeful. And it's a powerful one. Since 1989, the mortality rate from breast cancer has dropped by an incredible 44%. Just think about that for a second. That translates to roughly 518,000 deaths prevented. That's not just a statistic. That's 500,000 mothers, sisters, and friends. It's a real testament to decades of research, better screening, and smarter treatments.
And all that progress leads us to this number. When breast cancer is caught early, while it's still just in that one localized spot, the 5-year relative survival rate is an amazing 99%. And what's even better? Today, about 2/3 of all cases are found at this early, super treatable stage. This just perfectly shows why early detection is, without a doubt, our most powerful tool in this fight.
So how do we get to that 99% survival rate? Well, that brings us right to our first section, the power in early detection. We're going to look at how modern screening is specifically designed to find cancer when it's small, before it has a chance to spread, which is exactly when we have the absolute best chance to beat it. So what's the game plan? Well, national cancer guidelines have shifted. They now advise that folks with average risk should start getting mammograms at age 40, and then keep it up every 1 to 2 years. Now, for people at higher risk, maybe because of genetics or family history, doctors will often recommend starting even earlier, and sometimes they'll add an MRI to get an even more detailed picture. The big takeaway here is that this whole conversation is starting sooner, which gives us a critical head start.
And the technology itself has taken a massive leap forward. Okay, think of a regular 2D mammogram like just looking at the cover of a book. But a 3D mammogram, which is also called tomosynthesis, well, that's like being able to flip through every single page. It builds this incredible layer-by-layer view that helps doctors spot 15 to 30% more cancers. And a huge plus, it also cuts down on those really stressful false alarms. Of course, having amazing technology is one thing, but making sure people can actually use it is what really matters. And that's where programs like the National Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program, I know, it's a mouthful, so we'll call it the NBCCDP, come in. It's a vital program from the CDC that gives women with low incomes who are uninsured or underinsured access to free or low-cost screenings. It's all about bridging that gap and making sure this life-saving care is available to everyone.
All right, so once a diagnosis is made, what's next? Treatment. And today, treatment is all about creating a plan that is completely personalized to the individual. This is where modern medicine just gets so impressive. It is so far beyond any kind of one-size-fits-all approach.
Now, to really get why treatment is so personal, you have to know that not all breast cancers are the same. They're not even close. This chart here breaks down the most common types. And you can see right away, the huge majority, about 70%, are what we call hormone receptor positive. All that means is that they use hormones like estrogen as fuel to grow. And that's exactly why hormone therapy is such a common and effective treatment. Other types have different drivers, so they need totally different game plans.
Think of it this way. Doctors now have this whole toolkit full of different options they can use. You've got surgery and radiation, which are great for treating the cancer right where it is, locally. And then you have therapies that work throughout the whole body. We're talking chemotherapy, hormone therapy, targeted therapy, and immunotherapy. These travel through the bloodstream to fight cancer cells no matter where they are. The real art is in putting together the perfect combination for each person's specific cancer.
Targeted therapy is one of the most exciting developments. Seriously, imagine a smart key that's designed to fit one and only one specific lock. That's kind of how these drugs work. They're engineered to find unique markers on the surface of cancer cells, like a protein called HER2, and they attack only those cells, leaving healthy cells alone. This kind of precision often means a more effective treatment with way fewer side effects than traditional chemo. It's a real game changer.
And we can get even more precise. With something called genomic profiling, tests can actually analyze a tumor's specific genes to predict how it's going to act. This helps doctors answer a really critical question. Is a super powerful treatment like chemotherapy actually going to work for this patient?
It helps us avoid both over-treating people who don't need it and under-treating those who do. It's all about giving each patient exactly the right amount of therapy they need. No more, no less.
But, the journey doesn't just stop when the medical treatments end. The question of what comes next, emotionally, physically, and practically, is every bit as important. The human side of recovery is a massive part of the story.
And that leads us straight into our next section, community and recovery support. Because healing is about so much more than just medicine, right? It takes a whole network of support that looks after the whole person, long after their last doctor's appointment.
And thankfully, that network of resources is out there, and it's incredible. There are apps that can connect you one-on-one with trained volunteers who've actually been through a similar experience. There are community walks that not only raise money for research, but also build these powerful bonds between survivors and their loved ones. And there are even programs that provide things like wigs and specialized bras to help people feel comfortable and confident again.
So, where do we go from here? That brings us to our final section, the path forward. Because, as much as we celebrate all this amazing progress, we also have to be honest about the challenges that are still out there and look toward a future with even more innovation.
And this is one of the most critical challenges we face. The data is stark. In the US, Black women have a 38% higher death rate from breast cancer than white women, even though they get it less often. This disparity is a complex problem, tied to things like being diagnosed at a later stage and facing barriers to getting high-quality care. Closing this gap has to be a major focus for us moving forward.
So if you take away just two things from all of this, let it be this. First, early detection saves lives. Period. Getting screened regularly is what gets us to that 99% survival rate. And second, community builds hope. That network of friends, family, and support programs is what makes sure nobody has to walk this journey by themselves. And so, we'll end with a question for you. How will you be part of the progress? Maybe it's scheduling your own screening. Maybe it's encouraging someone you love to schedule theirs. Or maybe it's getting involved in a local support event. Every single action, big or small, helps build a future where breast cancer isn't a life-threatening disease. Thank you so much for watching.